dysmorphic disorder, or body dysmorphia for short, is a mental health condition where a person spends a lot of time worrying about flaws in their appearance, even though these flaws are often unnoticeable to others.
What is your opinion on how it occurs?
I think as a person becomes more aware of the surroundings and kind of how the world works and what the worldly expectations are and things like that, it usually has the potential for creating lower self-esteem and body dysmorphia. It doesn't always result in somebody obviously having those things, but I think it's becoming more of an increased thing. The reason why I think that the community that suffer the most with body dysmorphia are teenagers and young adults is because they have access to things like social media and they're doing, things like they're comparing themselves to others and things like that.
It can affect anyone, however, it is more common in women than amongst men. Another fact that you may not know is that if you have a family member who suffers with body dysmorphia, you have a higher chance of getting it as well. Body dysmorphia symptoms include shame regarding appearance, depression, social anxiety, refusal to appear in pictures, frequent examination in the mirror, excessive use of makeup, and finally the desire to correct all flaws with cosmetic surgery. This all relates to body image, and that means how an individual sees their own body and how attractive they feel themselves to be.
Is body dysmorphia a common mental illness?
Relatively so, and I think it's on the increase. It is on the increase statistically. Again, I think I mentioned this before, but it's more common in young adults and girls. Although obviously it does happen in males too. I think that there's a direct reason for that. I think the reason why it's becoming more common is because of the kind of increased societal pressures. Again, like I mentioned before, social media and this constant comparing and feeling like you have to look a certain way.
On screen are some examples of how filters, makeup and editing can affect the way in which you see an image. This can have a huge impact on people because it is putting up a fake reality and hiring standards for people who dislike their own bodies.
What do you think is the best way to help with body dysmorphia and or make it less a problem?
I think that there are a few ways. A support group is a really good way because then you get to experience somebody who's going through something very similar but with the kind of incentive that you want a better outcome, so kind of having an experience with somebody who kind of can connect with something that you're experiencing or something that you're struggling with. Another one is just speaking to somebody that you trust and not isolating yourself. A symptom of body dysmorphia is isolation, so a lot of them, just because they're obsessively in their thoughts about their kind of perceived flaw, they isolate themselves, so kind of being around somebody who makes them feel safe. Or obviously accessing therapy. CBT is a really good one, specifically for targeting body dysmorphia.
NatSen have published some research which states that body dysmorphia affects 1 out of 100 5 to 19-year-olds in England.
How can it affect your life socially and mentally?
I think the thoughts of somebody experiencing body dysmorphia, the thoughts and the feelings they have are pervasive, which means they're like really persistently negative and they're constantly in the mind. So when they're consistently impacting a person's ability to mentally focus, it can impact them socially or mentally. So it can impact their academic life, it can impact them socialising with friends because they're not able to kind of be present in the moment. They're kind of lost in the obsessive thoughts of kind of their perceived flaw.
When you have body dysmorphic disorder, you intensely focus on your appearance and body image. The behaviours in which you display, such as seeking reassurance about what you look like and grooming yourself, can cause significant distress and impact your ability to function in everyday life.
What do you think you can do if a 16 to 18-year-old wanted to get help in college?
So this particular college has obviously got counselling. And it's got a CBT therapist who comes in on a Tuesday. I imagine most colleges have something very, very similar. However, just depending on the person and what they want to do, not everyone wants to access therapy. So as long as they've got a safe person that they can confide in and trust, speak through their problems, it's something where it's not usually going to go away on its own. It requires some level of action, which means working through obviously the experiences and the symptoms and the things that they're feeling and thinking.